Chapter 5 is about mathematics of finance. In this chapter, we'll learn some basic concepts from or applications of mathematics to finance. For example, we will study concepts like simple interest, compound interest, annuity, mortality, and some other concepts. Let's start with section 5.1 with the compound interest. But before we introduce compound interest, we need to introduce a simpler concept of the interest, which is called simple interest. Simple interest is an interest that is computed on the original principal only. So we have the original principal is the amount of money that is invested. For example, if you invest $100, if you deposit $100 in some bank with some interest rate of 4%. So this is usually written as 4% is 0.04. We write it as a decimal, and you read it in the question as 4%. So the $100 that you deposit is called the principal. So P is 100. This is the principal amount. Now, after 1 year, for example, after 1 year, with this interest rate 0.04, you get 100, the original amount, plus the interest on that amount. So 0.04 of the original amount, which is $4. So you get 104. And after another year, 1 year later, you get another 4%, but the new 4% is on the original amount, not on the accumulated one. Not on the accumulated one, but on the original amount. So you have the original amount plus 0.04. I mean 0.04 times 100. And that gives you 104 again. So each year you get 4% on the original amount. So every year you get $4 every year. That's a constant amount, and that's called simple interest because here you are only the interest computed on the original principal. So you deposit $100. After 1 year you get $4 on that amount, and the next year you get $4 on the original amount, so you get 104, and you already got 4 from the previous year, so you get the accumulated amount of 108. But every year you get $4 more. Every year's $4 more. So that's what we mean by simple interest. Now here we have some formula for how to compute simple interest. Simple interest I is P times R times T, where I is the interest, P is the principal in dollars, and R is interest rate, T is time in years. Now the amount that is accumulated is given by A equals P times I plus RT. And the reason is that now from where we get this formula, we have in the first year, we have the accumulated amount is the principal plus the interest. But the interest is given here. It's PRT. This is after the first, for example, first year, second year, third year, because this is simple interest. So every time we have same interest rate, so it's added to the principal. Okay, now let's take P as a common factor. We get P times 1 plus RT. So this is the formula. A equals P times 1 plus RT. Here this is 1, not I. So keep this in mind. This is how we find the simple interest. And this formula here gives us the simple interest amount, and this is the accumulated amount. A is the accumulated amount. It's A equals P times 1 plus RT. Good. Now let's take some examples. We start with this simple example. We have a bank pays simple interest at rate of 4% per year for certain deposits if a customer deposits $1,000 and makes no withdrawals for 3 years. Now we need to use the symbols that we learned here. So 4%, that means R, the rate, the interest rate is 0.04. We write it as decimal. 1,000 is the principal amount, that's capital P. And we have for 3 years, this denotes time. Now the question is, what is the total amount on deposit at the end of 3 years? And then what is the interest earned in that period of time? So the first question, what is the total amount? That's the accumulated amount, this given by this formula, A equals P times 1 plus RT. So we write it here, and then we plug these values. Principal is 1,000, 1 plus R is 0.04, times T is 3, and using calculator we get $1,120. So after 3 years, your accumulated money is 1,120. And remember that the original amount that you deposited at first was 1,000. Now the second part of the question says ask about the interest earned. So we want to find the interest. What is the interest? Interest is, so this is the first part, let's call it A. And now B, the interest is P times R times T. P is 1,000 times R is 0.04 times T, 3 years. And when we compute this, we get $120. Let's do another problem. Now the second example asks the following. You are given amount of $2,000. This is given. An amount of $2,000 is invested in a 10-year, that's time, and this is the principal amount. 10-year trust fund that pays 3% annual simple interest. So this is R. R is 0.03 because we write it as decimal. Now the question is, what is the total amount? We are asked to find the total amount. That means A. So we want to find A, the total amount in the trust fund at the end of the 10th year. So we have A equals the principal amount times 1 plus RT, and then the principal is 2,000 times 1 plus R. R is 0.03 times T. T is 10 years. And then we use the calculator to find A. A is 2,600. Now let's do another example. Example 3 here. T-bills, suppose that Jane buys a 26-week T-bill with a maturity value of $10,000. If she pays $9,850 for the T-bill, the question is, what will be the rate of return on her investment? So here we are asked to find the rate of return. Now how to find the rate of return? Now we have the formula A equals P times 1 plus RT. And we need to determine the constants, the value of A, P, R, and T. So we want to find, we have A is the money accumulated, it's 10,000. And we have P, the principal amount, was 9,850. And we want to find the rate. The rate is R, the interest rate. And we are given T. So we have 26 weeks. So from here we can find T, but T is time in years. So we can't use 26 because 26 is time in weeks. So how to convert this into years? We know that time is 26 weeks over 52 weeks, because in each year we have 52 weeks. So in order to find time in years, we need to divide 26 weeks by the how many weeks in a year, and that will give us 1/2 a year, or 0.5. So T is 0.5. Now we can apply the formula. A is 10,000 equal the principal amount is 9,850 times 1 plus R. R is not given. T is 0.5. Now we need to solve for R. So let's first divide both sides by 9,850. So when we do this, we get 1 plus 0.5 R, this is the right hand side, equals 10,000 over 9,850. So this is 1.015. And then you subtract 1. So we get 0.5 R equals 1.015 minus 1, which is just 0.5 R equals 0.015, and then you use the calculator to find R. We divide by 0.5, and we have R equals, calculator. Now you can use the calculator to find this amount. Now we have 0.015 divided by 0.5, so it's 0.03. This is the interest rate. So sometimes we are given some information like A, P, T, and we need to find one constant like the rate. So this is how we find the unknown constant. We need to solve to find the equation by applying the correct formula, and then plug the given values to find R or T or P or A as required. Okay. Now after this we have the second part. Now we come to the compound interest. Now the compound interest is actually this answer here, R equals 0.03, is just an approximation. We should divide, here we have 10,000 equals 908. Okay, so yeah, so you get similar value. If you use the calculator from the beginning, you may get something like 0.0305. But here I solved this by hand and then used calculator, so you can approximate it to R equals 0.03. Now we come to the compound interest. What do we mean by compound interest? Now in the next video we'll talk about this, so I think it's better to split it into videos.